In the UK, inflation fell to 1.5% in October, down from 1.7% in September, according to the latest data from the National Office of Statistics this morning. Well, Juliana will update us on that. Hello, Juliana. Good afternoon. UK inflation fell to the lowest level in 3 years in October. What factors drove the inflation number lower, and how are the markets reading the data this time?
Good afternoon, Chimothy. Well, the markets love statistics, particularly statistics involving inflation. And of course, there's so much volatility within British economics at the moment that all eyes are really focused on this. As you said, according to details from the Office for National Statistics, consumer price inflation fell by 1.5% in October from 1.7% in the previous month. Analysts had predicted it will be about 1.6%. It's also much lower than the Bank of England's target, which is about 2%. Now, for consumers, that's good, right? Because, of course, you're then not spending as much money in the shop. But considering we had quite weak GDP data from last week, it appears as if, the economy is stalling and people are not spending. Also, as well, last week we had two policy committee members from the Bank of England voting to cut interest rates by 5 percentage points. So it does appear, if things do continue to go in this way, that the Bank of England interest rate cut could be imminent. But let's quickly have a look at the numbers specifically at intraday. The FTSE All-Share is down 0.67%. The FTSE 100 is down 0.63%. And the FTSE 250 is down 1.02%. In currencies, British pound is just slightly up on the US dollar because of those inflation figures by 0.09%. It's up on the euro by 0.06%, and again just up on the Japanese yen by 0.05%.
There is an interesting report from a government-backed review. That's the Hampton-Alexander Review. Actually, this report concerns you and I. It shows that there is little sign of change in women being underrepresented in top jobs in business. Now, for instance, you have the report saying that in the FTSE 350, only 25 women are in chair roles with fewer chief executives. However, the FTSE 100 companies are on target for women to make up at least a third of boards by the end of 2020. Now, is this report catching the attention of businesses and authorities? What are some of the problems with having more women at the top?
Well, as you said, it is an interesting review. And of course, not everybody is picking up on the details, but some people are. This is a 10-year-long independent review that is backed by the British government and is due to expire at the end of next year. So they're really in a hurry to try and get some of these changes in place. And really what the review has said today is that the government are not doing enough. FTSE 350, so these are the biggest 350 companies in the UK, are not doing enough to have women in the board. They have shown that there has been an increase and a little bit of expansion since they started the review in 2011. For example, the government's back initiative is to make sure 33% of the 20,000 senior roles available would be going to women. In 2018, that figure was about 26%. It now, this year, has risen to about 28%. So there does seem to be an increase, but there's certainly a long way to go. Of course, we know that a lot of these FTSE 100 senior positions are held by men, not just men, a lot of white men as well. A lot of black women are completely out of the looking when it comes to these senior roles. But there is some improvement. So the headline out of this is that, the government need to put more pressure on these FTSE companies to open their doors, not just for women, but for women of colour too.
This is actually a global agitation by women. Anyway, as part of a global day of protests over pay, McDonald's workers in the UK have gone on strike. Which other food companies have joined this protest? And just wondering if this is affecting your lunch today, Juliana.
It's not affecting my lunch today, Chimmy, because I don't eat McDonald's anymore. But no, to be honest with you, in the UK, it really just affected the McDonald's workers, or at least in terms of sheer size, because, of course, they've got over 100,000 employees in the UK, and McDonald's is one of the most popular fast food chains in the world. It's worth over $100 billion. And what their workers are saying is that they no longer want to put up with what they're calling poverty pay. This pay is about £8.15 per hour. They want their pay to be increased to at least £15 per hour. Also, another really popular method of working here in the UK is 0-hour contracts. So you basically come in on a very flexible relationship with your employee. They don't want that. They want full-time contracts. So they've been out and about on the streets. They were mainly out and about yesterday. It got the attention of the Labour Chancellor, opposition Chancellor. He was out there supporting them. And we know that there'll be several rallies taking place across the world all this week, including in New Zealand, Brazil and Chile.
Anyway, let's just hope that their call is answered. Thank you, Juliana, and enjoy the rest of the day.